Can we bake an apple crisp on the grill? Absolutely. We can do many desserts on the Sabre grill. This apple crisp is one of the most delicious and quickest desserts that I know. Take any of your favorite varieties of apples. Today I have a Gala and a Granny Smith. Peel, core, and dice. And what we're going to do is quickly season them up with just sugar and just a touch of cinnamon. Apples, cinnamon, and sugar. Natural affinity for one another. Coat those apples with the cinnamon sugar mixture. That looks really, really good. We're going to make an individual serving, and then I have a cast iron Dutch oven. We'll make a larger portion as well. So fill the receptacle with the apples. And this is very rustic. So sort of let the apples fall very naturally. Okay. We'll take our spiced apples to the grill now. I have a preheated cast iron Dutch oven. Just a touch of oil. We'll use oil here rather than butter. Oil has a higher flash point. If we were to use butter at this point, it might burn and not leave an unpleasant taste to our apple crisp. Then the apples go right in. That's the right sound. We're going to roast this crisp at about 400 to 500 degrees for about 30 minutes. So while those apples are starting to cook, we'll finish the cobbler topping, if you will. In the same bowl that the sugar and the cinnamon was in, we're going to add flour, brown sugar, and butter. This is cold butter that's been cut into pieces. And then with your hands or a pastry cutter, you're going to cut that butter in. And what you're doing is you're making these beautiful, delicious little knobs of buttery brown sugar. And the flour, once it's blended with the butter, will form a delicious crust on our crisp. Say that 5 times fast. So cutting that in until the butter resembles the shape of maybe green peas, so that they can be equally distributed on top of the crisp. You can see that, we're getting there. Just have to work it. 2 knives or an old-fashioned pastry cutter work too, but I think there's nothing better than getting right into it. It's very important to get the flour and the butter equally distributed. The butter is going to brown up nice. The brown sugar is going to add a nice crusty caramel color. I just don't want there to be too many large pieces of butter. We want to equally distribute that. All right. And what we'll do is take our crisp. And this is a very, very rustic dessert. Let those pieces get in there. That butter is going to melt, the sugar is going to caramelize, and the flour will form the crust. As this cooks, the apples will cook down, so even though it's over the edge of the souffle cup, by the time we're ready to pull it out of the grill, it'll be even, if not slightly sunken. All right, we'll take this to the grill. Now our apples in the cast iron skillet are cooking along very, very nicely. Just sprinkle the crisp topping in. Trying to cover all the apples evenly. All right. The Sabre grill, with its even cooking, allows for us to do much more than just grill a piece of salmon, cook a hamburger. We're going to bake an amazing dessert at about 400 to 500 degrees. This is going to take about 30 to 35 minutes. All right, that looks fantastic. So there's our finished product. You can see the beautiful crust, the caramelization from the brown sugar. This is screaming for some ice cream, maybe a bourbon anglaise, some sweet cream. Wow, this can go in a lot of different directions. But you could see we had 5 ingredients, 1 pan, 50 minutes. A delicious dessert from the Sabre grill. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. You could find this recipe and many more at betterbarbecueblog.com.